Hey guys, it's Robert. I'm bringing you a video for all my eBay sellers today, and this one's inspired by a sale that I had this morning. I was motivated to try and put this video together real quick while I still had it before I gotta ship it out, and then I hopefully never see it again. So this is going to be kind of impromptu. I'm not going to bother editing it. I'm not working too much on the production value of it here, guys. I'm really just want to bring you some content that's going to help make you some money if you're getting started on eBay. And then, you know, if maybe you've been selling on eBay, but this is an area that hasn't been part of your business in the past, I think that there's some really good information in here that anybody can use, even if clothing's a little bit new to you. So with that being said, please excuse me if I ramble a little bit or get slightly off topic, and just know that my intention is to provide you as much good information as I can and turn that into money for you. At whatever point you feel like I've added something of value to your knowledge base and hopefully, you know, giving you something that you can go and make some money with, I'd appreciate it if you would like this video, and then comment down below and let me know what it was specifically that you found valuable. Hopefully by the end of this video, after I've revealed to you a couple bonus items that I'm saving for that part, at that point hopefully you'll feel like you want to see more from me, and you'll also subscribe. So I want to earn all those likes, subscriptions, guys, and I'm doing my best to bring you stuff that's really going to be valuable for you. So without further ado, today I'm going to be talking mostly about sports clothing, and a lot of it's going to be sweaters. I do really well with sweaters. I also have a couple jackets that I think are really worth you keeping an eye out for, and one or two other items. So I'm going to make you wait until the end for those. But one of the things that I always am looking for, and pretty much all of these fall into the category, is they're made in the United States. And then one of the other things that I'm going to highlight is the particular tags that are on them, which those two items, made in the USA and the tag, really help us to identify that we are looking at a vintage item. And what I found with the sports clothing is my best selling items have all been like from the 90s or before. They tend to be priced lower at Goodwill, leaving us more room for profit. And I think that people are just enamored with, you know, items that they can't get anymore. So, you know, as great as some of these new Nike, new with tags, you know, Reebok on-field jerseys and some of these things, I'm just seeing Goodwill start pricing them ridiculously high. So some of these older items are still flying under the radar, and there's a lot of opportunity for profit there. Alright, so what we don't want to see when it comes to the tag is anything that's printed on. Alright, this is just a shirt from Macy's here with a printed on label. We don't want that. That's really not going to be of a lot of value to us for the purpose of what I'm talking about today. What we want to see instead, and apologize for all the awkward reaching off screen, but I don't have an assistant to hand them to me just yet. What we want to see is actual tags. Alright, so like this one here, guys, is Lee Sport tag, and you can see it's, you know, sewn on. Some of them are sewn on in different ways, but this also tells us right on the tag, made in the USA. Generally, if it's made in the USA, it is going to tell us that proudly. And then the other cool thing with this one, it was commemorating the championship that they won in 1997. So now that also tells us, hey, this was made in 1997. And pretty much 90s now, for all practical purposes, is considered vintage clothing. You'll see a lot of eBay listings in all sorts of categories. They'll say vintage 90s, so that's fair game. 90s is vintage. You can confidently you know, portray them that way. That one here was a Lee Sport, and then this one also is a Lee Sport. It again says made in the USA, although this one does not have you know, anything dictating the year. We can, you know, definitely go off of that tag and list this as a vintage item. Cardinals Asu, you guys guessed it, I'm from Arizona. This is another one that is Midwestern Sportswear or something. Not like a brand that I've commonly seen, but what makes this one special is this Sparky logo This is the old Sparky that helps me identify it. It does say made in the USA right on the back, and then this is actually like a sewn and stitched on patch. This is just a really cool sweater. This is actually the first time I've tried it on. Fits me awesome. I may either up the price or just take the listing down altogether because I'm pretty proud of this one. And I made the mistake of selling an awesome ASU jacket once. I made good money on it, but I left a lot of money on the table, and I would have been like the best dressed guy at any ASU stadium game. So, anyways, Lee Sport is a good brand. I find a lot of. Another one here we've got is Logo Athletic, Logo 7 sometimes they're called, and like this one here is a Wings Nhl Sweater. So at the time of this video, we are in the Stanley Cup. Red Wings are not in it, but down here below we can see Logo 7 NHL 1991. So again, we've got a 25-year-old plus sweater now, and the Red Wings are a team that definitely has a ton of support. Good condition. There's really no stains. Yes, there's some wear to the logo in that, but this is minimal stuff, guys. Like, that's not going to deter anybody from buying this. What we really always want to look for is that there's no like major unforgivable stains. Another little Logo 7 tag. Or gigantic holes. But if there's a little bit of some wear along the collar, these are stretched out a little bit, that's not necessarily a deal breaker. Like this one here too actually has like a little hole in the back. That's on a 25-year-old plus item. These are not reasons for you to not buy this. Even here again at this sleeve, we got a couple little marks down below. Guys, like, don't let that deter you in and of itself. Just make sure that you include that stuff on the listing so that people know what they're getting and they don't want to return it or ask for a discount later on. So on to the next one. Nice big Chargers sweater, helmet. That's always great. NFL patch on the sleeve. And then we'll notice again we have a sewn on patch, guys. Starter is a great brand for vintage clothing. Now this one here actually is one of the exceptions in this video, but this was made in China. But the Starter, the way that this is stitched on, and the particular weight and weave of this, I was not deterred at all by the fact that it was from China. I don't remember exactly what I paid for this, but just going off of like items is probably like $6-7, and I've got it listed for $45-50. It's got a lot of attention even though it hasn't sold yet. I think I've got a couple offers that were like $30, and I just turned them down because they were really early on, and I'm stingy. So next item we've got is another Lee Sport. So again, like, guys, you could see these are definitely out there. Like, you will find these. Made in the United States. This one is a Broncos sweater, in really good condition. I actually haven't listed this one yet, as you can see. The Goodwill tag still on it, and this one was $3.99. Now, I get coupons from Goodwill that if you spend over $20, you get 20% off the items. So that takes this down to $3.20 is what I paid for this. And this I'll list for $40. Probably end up getting like $30 for it based off of what I've experienced with similar sweaters like this. And then who knows, on every item that I put on eBay, I always double check and see what else I can find that's recently sold that's like it. And sometimes it'll surprise me, and I'll find that I need to actually list it for higher. I don't get deterred if I'm seeing stuff sell for less, because there's a lot of people out there that just don't know what they should list it for. So I will always start it at the higher end and then just make sure that it says or best offer. Next one, we have a Champion brand sweater. What makes this one special there is reverse weave, and yes, I know it's backwards, but you know, brain workout. Reverse weave, extra large, made in the United States, right down there, and Notre Dame. Yeah, can't go wrong with Notre Dame if it's of a vintage, you know, brand. The other thing, I really feel like Champion might be making a comeback as a brand. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but it looks like the newer stuff from Champion is being sported out there from people. So I think that there might be something to that, and it may make these older items more valuable. That's definitely something you guys can comment on below, is if you know anything about Champion, or if it's something that you're seeing, if you agree with me, or if you think I'm just like an idiot that that Champion's, you know, not like a big deal. But yeah, I just feel like I've seen more stuff popping up from Champion. Next one, we have Legends Athletics, made in the United States. You guys starting to see a pattern here, made in the USA, and Buffalo Bills. That's, you know, about all I'm going to really spend time on this one. This is a pretty big size, and that's something that, you know, usually guys, bigger sizes do better. So we'll leave it at that for this particular one and move on. And then I'm going to show you quickly a jersey. One of the only jerseys I'm going to show you tonight, but this is a Diamondbacks. This is the original colors for the Diamondbacks. So if you guys are big baseball fans, you know that the Diamondbacks now, their colors are red and white, but originally it was purple, like back when we won the World Series. And then again, we have this sewn on tag. It's Logo Athletic. That's a great brand, and we'll see on this one, it's made in Korea. Made in Korea, definitely still preferable to seeing something that was made in China. So, Logo Athletic, we'll see some sweaters, jerseys. Here's another, sticking with baseball for a minute. Another brand is Mirage. Mirage is definitely one that I see for baseball quite a bit. And again, sewn on patch. This is a little bit faded, but I was able to see it's got made in the Philippines. So just like Korea, guys, made in the Philippines, not necessarily a bad thing. I mean, this thing looks like it would be, you know, a hand-me-down item or something, but I just listed this one here not too long ago, and you know, it's definitely gotten a lot of eyes on it. So those are the things that I take a look at, is like how many followers or like watchers are on the item, and this one, yeah, kind of surprised me. Back to my home state of Arizona, I'm going to show you guys my Phoenix Suns. Often they disappoint me, but I will buy their stuff anyways. This one here is from a brand called Salem Sportswear, and it's made in the United States, XL, good condition. Anything else exciting about this one? Nope, that's pretty much it, guys, on this. Again, made in the USA. I probably paid $3-4 for it, and it's listed for like $40. And all these that I'm listing, guys, it's for a reason. I'm actually selling these and getting sales off of them for those type of price points. I'm going to skip this one. I'm going to come back to that in a second. Alright, here we have a San Francisco 49ers long sleeve shirt. This one is Reebok and made in the USA. Again, look at the type of tag. It's not printed on the shirt itself, it's a physical tag. That is what we want. Alright? So, boom. Next. Baseball. Majestic. We'll see a lot of jerseys that are Majestic. This one, Mariners Baseball. Right on here you'll see year 2000. So it's like it's close to vintage, but you know, it's really the fact that it's majestic and it's made in the United States that kind of helps solidify this one for me as a buy. And then whatever I paid for that, I think it was $4. You know, I listed it for probably 25, so it won't make as much. But here we got one that's pretty cool for a jersey starter brand, always a good brand. I'm going to get back to this in a minute. This actually shows on the tag the year, which was 1995, and says again on it, made in El Salvador. Bennett from the Packers. I'm not a Packers fan, but I had another Bennett jersey in it sold really quick, so I'm hoping this one will follow suit. Where are we now? Wilson. Wilson's one that I know mostly from tennis, guys, but you know, they had other items. This was another Packers jersey I bought with that other one for Sharp, and I picked it up, made in the USA. It was like $5, so pretty much every jersey that I've sold has been over $30 sale, and a lot of the jerseys that sell well aren't necessarily the most well-known guys, because the superstars have tons and tons of jerseys out there. So it's usually the guys that were good but weren't necessarily like the best. You know, you don't probably want a Matt Leinart jersey, for all my fellow Cardinals fans. But, you know, guys that were like second tier maybe, where they were good enough that people would want to wear their jerseys, but not so big that there's just tons and tons of them out there. Those are sometimes the ones that do the best. All right. Now we're starting to get into a couple of my best brands for you to keep an eye out for. This one still has a tag on it. This was $12.99. I normally wouldn't buy anything for $13, and I didn't on this one either. It was 20% off, so I think I paid, what, like 11 something for it. But here's where the important thing was. This is a brand called Chalkline. Chalkline is a really good brand for the vintage sports clothing, and this is made in the United States. It's a XXL, and nice big logo on it. On all of these sweaters and stuff, like people that buy these buy them because they are different, and so usually like they want something that draws more attention to itself. They don't want, you know, subtle. They're not looking for subtlety. They're looking for bold, ostentatious. Chalkline, I will get back to in a second with a jacket I'm going to show you guys, but this is a very valuable brand, and I'll highlight in a minute what specifically you want to be on the lookout for from Chalkline. I've never found, but I know somebody that's really successful with them. So, all right. This is a brand that is probably like one of my favorites, and I just really like them because they're fun. But this is a brand called Nutmeg Mills. All right, they're made in the USA. These are all going to be vintage for sure, and these were big in the 90s. But they have all these sweaters with some really cool art. They're just, these are what I'm talking about when I say like find stuff that's big and bold. You know, this is the kind of thing like you can't really go out and find a lot of options for these really crazy art pieces on your sports clothing. And this one even, I think Jack Davis posted down there. I don't even know who that is, to be honest with you, but it doesn't matter to me. It's really about the brand and the fact that it was made in the United States. So Nutmeg Mills, awesome sweaters. That's actually what I had that sold today, which is this piece here. And that is San Francisco 49ers, 1994 NFC champions. This sold today for $43, including shipping. My listing was for $36, and then I don't include free shipping. I have them pay the shipping. And this is an example of an item that I paid $4 for and sold for $36. So most of my sweaters I make like 30 bucks plus on, and this wasn't my absolute top selling sweater, but it made me some good money. So the more of these that we find, they just keep on adding up. My last one from Nutmeg Mills, which I'm not a fan of the Raiders, but I really like this particular sweater. It's just really pretty, and this one's, again, for the age, it's in like fantastic condition, has a really cool image on it, and Nutmeg Mills, made in the USA. So I can 100% list this as vintage because it was made in the 90s, and Raiders fans are a special bunch. I'm not saying anything bad about them. I don't want to get shanked, but no, Raiders fans, like, they're diehard fans, right? So that's one that I was really excited to find. It was like $3 or $4, and I've had it listed for I think 55 or 60 with a couple of offers in like right around 40 bucks. So I've just held on to it, given a little bit more time as we get closer to football season. And that's one of the things. Some items I'll take a lower offer if it's been sitting around. Obviously, I'm more excited to get rid of it. But if I list something up and get lowballed right away, I'm gonna hold on to it and just see. And as we get closer to football season, we may see that more of those start coming in. So guys, getting back to Chalkline that I was talking about earlier, here's where we really want to be aware of Chalkline as a brand, and it's not actually for their sweaters, it's for their jackets. Alright, this is a satin jacket here for the Bengals, and it's got this beautiful patch on it. It's sewn on. This one was in really good condition. Got the nice big Bengals on the back, and it has that classic look. We know that this is vintage just by the material, and you just don't see these anymore. So these, the ASU jacket that I parted with, that I'm kind of bummed that I sold for what I did and didn't just keep it, was a satin jacket like this from Starter brand, which also makes them. But Chalkline, they make these really great satin jackets, and then the real money to be had is on the Fanimation versions of them. So if you look on eBay for Chalkline Fanimation, you'll see these awesome satin jackets with just crazy artwork on them. They're really, really cool. You can sell these things for like $500, $600. Now, they're going to be really hard to find, or you're going to probably have to see if somebody else is selling them on eBay, not knowing what they're actually holding. And there's people out there that snipe these things up, turn around and sell them and double their money. So if you can find a Fanimation jacket ever, it's worth trying to do your research to see if it's something to buy. But if you find one in like a Goodwill, they probably don't know what they have, and I would say you're almost guaranteed to make $100 or more. Another one here that I picked up from Starter. Again, Starter and Chalkline are probably two of my favorite brands for the vintage items. But this is a nice big puffy jacket from Denver Broncos. Big logo on the back. It's in like perfect condition, and I got this thing for less than $10. I've had it listed just for a couple months now for like 70 bucks for best offer. I would expect that as we get closer to football season and Denver starts to cool down a little bit, just based on the number of views that I've had on this, I think I'll get well over $50 for it, probably like 50, 60 plus shipping. So there's that, and then bonus item. I'm going to give you one more opportunity to hit the like button if you've been staying with me this long and have figured out some good tips and tricks regarding these clothing. But here it is. Hit that like button while I grab it. It is a hat. I know. Surprised me too. I found this one actually today, and it's a Logo Athletic That's the little L there for Logo Athletic. You can see that on the inside of the hat. NFL Pro Line, authentic. There we've got our Logo Athletic, one size fits all. What does it say it there? Made in Taiwan. I went and immediately searched for this, guys. I got this for $1. Alright, at the St. Vincent de Paul. I've been trying to go other places besides Goodwill because they just keep pumping their prices up. But your more traditional, small-time thrift stores, one-offs, St. Vincent de Paul I've had some good success with. But this I got for $1, and I found one on eBay that sold for like $35. So I was pretty excited about that. But I also knew through a friend of mine that does well with hats, there's a tremendous amount of money to be made with hats. And he actually had just sold one he bought for $30 and sold it for $800, guys. Now that's like the biggest sale that he's had on a hat. That's the biggest that I've seen or heard of. But there's a lot of hats from Logo Athletic and Starter that have very specific designs on them from the 90s. Starter's got some that are like these splashes across them. They have one, I think they call it Shark Tooth. Another one's called like Paint Splash or Splash. There's some that's like fire across the top. But they're like specific ones, and certain people just look for those, and they sell for like hundreds of dollars. So this was one that you know, you could see it's not the most exciting pattern on it or anything, but I found the exact one that had just sold, and so I snatched this up. And for $1, you can't lose. There's just no way. So definitely do your research on hats. The sweaters, recapping, made in the USA, and focus on those tags. Those will help you identify older items. From there, that's about all that I've got. I think we've covered more than enough for a day, and if you did stay with me this whole video, I appreciate it, guys. I really hope that's because you felt like you were learning something and I didn't completely and totally bore you. Please do me a huge favor, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment below and let me know what I can improve upon or include more info on, or if you have any questions, I'll certainly get to them. And I will see you next time. Thanks.